I don't know what's going on. I'm here with my dog Bert. My name is Tori. If you don't know me, I'm a canine enrichment expert, and I love sharing ideas for how to enrich your dog's life. Enrichment is really the key to building your dog's confidence, boosting their brain so they can live a healthy, long life. We're all about health span, not just lifespan, right? You want your dog to live as healthy as possible, as long as possible, and canine enrichment is a big part of that. So if you are tuning into this video, Bert's gonna get his big old butt out of the way. Come here, Bert. Let's move your tuchus over here a little bit. Okay, thank you, sir. I thought it would be fun. I got a few new snuffle mats. And what's exciting about that to me is I've actually never had a store-bought snuffle mat. And look at the size of this snuffle mat. You wanna lick my face? I thought he'd be more into the snuffle mats. But I've actually never had a store-bought snuffle mat before, so this is pretty exciting to me. Look at this butterfly. This is from a company called Paws and Dogs, with Z's in the name, Paws and Dogs. And then this is my homemade DIY version. Now I have a YouTube video showing how to make this. I use 2 sink mats from the dollar store. They're zip tied together in the middle here. And then I cut fleece strips and I tie them in knots onto the mat, and it makes a DIY snuffle mat. If you're not familiar with what a snuffle mat is, it's basically a way that you can feed your dog or do like a little afternoon snack activity. This one, as you can see, is very floppy. It's made with this thin sink mat material. And of course, as I'm starting to do this, I'm realizing Bert is wandering around like he wants to go outside. So hopefully he's just looking for something to eat in the kitchen. But this is my DIY version. And this is the new store-bought version that was sent to me from Paws and Dogs. And I will link to them as soon as I can, whenever I'm done going live here. But as you can see, this is a very elaborate and cool looking snuffle mat. It has all these different ruffled sections where you can put kibble for your dog to search and sniff out. It's on a very firm backing. It kind of has like a non-slip coating on the back here. And it has these little hooks or little loops that you can use to hang it from a hook when you're storing it. But it has all these ruffled sections. And what's important about this is we're gonna put little pieces of kibble or treats inside of here, and your dog can search and sniff it out. Now, this snuffle mat has a lot of different features. It has the ruffled, folded part of the wings. On the bottom part of the wings, there's these like little kind of cups that are these round felt pieces that have little fleece strips inside of it. Bert's like, oh, I'm being summoned. I need to do this. There's some more of the ruffles on the bottom, and then there's more of the cup feature here. Now, another thing that's going on here with this snuffle mat, as I'm getting hit with the antenna in my face, is that it has these compartments on the body of it where you could actually hide larger treats. For my dog, Bert, I have found that it's kind of a little bit too challenging for him. If you don't know Bert, he's a 14-year-old Labrador, so he's intrigued as to what I have going on here. But it's important that you adapt your enrichment activities and your snuffle mats to your dog's skill level and their abilities. So this, what I thought was cool about this is it's really big. Look, it's like almost my wingspan, the wingspan of this butterfly. So it's great if you have a big dog. A lot of the snuffle mats, the store-bought ones that are out there, are kind of small. And I've always had big dogs, I've always had Labradors. So I always saw these like little ones that were for sale, and I was like, well, that's dumb. I could make something better myself. And so, you know, I have my DIY version of a double sink mat, and this is pretty big and pretty good for my big dogs to search through, and it's got lots of layers. I tied all the fleece pretty thick, so there's a lot of interest and a lot of hiding places in here for my dog's kibble. But then when I had the opportunity to get some snuffle mats from Paws and Dogs, I just thought this was so cool. It's nice and big, perfect for my dogs. Now, I keep saying dogs. I had 2 chocolate labs. Right now I just have Bert. My other dog passed away last June, but I am so in the habit of saying my dogs, my dogs, my dogs, that I'm always talking about Lucy, and I don't regret it at all because I love her. I'll love her forever. Now, this is another snuffle mat that Paws and Dogs also sent me, and it's made out of a totally different material. So this is like a cotton webbing material that's been all folded up, and then it's stitched down between every single loop. And you could, if you really wanted to spend some time doing this, you could put treats inside of the loops. Or what I usually do is I just put it down, I dump some kibble or treats on top, I smush it around so that they get kind of buried in there, and I let my dog search for it. This one in particular is, let's see if it says anything on the tag about this. It says challenge level 2. What is the butterfly challenge level? The butterfly is challenge level 3. I thought so. Remember, I just told you, I was like, this is a little bit too hard for Bert to do when there's like these little hidden compartments along the body of the butterfly. We don't really use those when I'm using it. But do you want to see Bert do it? Somebody comment, say hi. I know you're out there watching. There's a few of you watching here, so comment and let me know if you're ready to see Bert in action and which one you want to see him use first. So he's very intrigued already by my DIY homemade one because we've used it the most. I made this maybe 1.5 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. I don't know, time flies. So I made this a while ago, and it still has some residue from some treats. You can see Bert is like busy just sniffing around there. He's already intrigued as to what's going on, even though there's nothing on there, it's just residue. And then these 2 are our new ones from Paws and Dogs. Now, Paws and Dogs is a small business. I talked to one of the owners, a husband and wife team that started this, and it's based in Canada, and they make really wonderful, high quality products. They care a lot about you and your dog, and I love to support entrepreneurs and small businesses, so that's another important feature for me. Which one do you want to try, Bert? What are you interested in? I think we should show off the butterfly one. What do you guys think? I'm gonna grab a little bit of kibble. I hid it on the mantle above me. I'm gonna grab a little bit of kibble, and we're gonna spread it in here, and we're gonna watch Bert work on his snuffle mat, okay? All right, so here we go. Butterfly is in action. Move these off to the side. Now, the kibble that I'm using is also from a cool woman-owned business. Bundle and Joy, my friend Jess Berger is the founder of it. And if you ever see this around in stores, you'll notice it because she has the coolest, prettiest packaging on the planet. Oh yeah, wondering if it's machine washable. That's a very good question. I haven't, let's see. So for the butterfly, I have the tag right here. It says hand wash or machine wash. Refer to washing instructions for more details. Suggest washing the snuffle mat at least once a week. I wonder if there's more washing details on the website or something like that. I'll get back to you on that one. Okay, but first, Bert is dying to get into this bag, so let's let him play. You ready, Bert? Sit down. Okay guys, so for today, I'm just gonna take a handful of kibble because Bert is like so dying to get into this. But we've just got a handful of kibble right here. Okay, watch out. I'm gonna try and hold him back for a second. And I am going to, there you go, stay there. I'm gonna just kind of peel back the different ruffles and drop some kibble in there. Can you see this? Bert's like, I can see it. So again, I'm just kind of like peeling back some of the layers of the ruffles and just sprinkling the kibble in there. So it's fine if your dog watches you do this. It's really kind of more about the action of them searching for stuff. You can drop some down in those lower compartments. And then like I said, if you wanted to, you could stuff some treats inside of these little hiding spots. But I'm not stuffing them all the way in because that's a little bit too difficult for my dog. Okay, Bert, ready? Go ahead. You want to stand up? Move your butt out of the way. Okay, guys. So Again, if you're just tuning in, my name is Tori Mistick. I'm a certified canine enrichment expert. I've been blogging about my life with dogs for over 13 years, and today we're talking about snuffle mats. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments below. Right now, my dog, Bert, he is almost 14 years old, and he is working on this butterfly-shaped snuffle mat from Paws and Dogs. So here is their brand, Paws and Dogs. It might be reversed for you, I don't know. But it's really great. I love the brand, it's very high quality. I've actually never had a store-bought snuffle mat ever, and I've had dogs for over 20 years. I've been doing snuffle mats for, gosh, like 6 years or so. I made my first DIY snuffle mat in the pandemic. I actually used a cardboard, like a piece of a cardboard box, because remember the pandemic, we couldn't get our hands on things and it was hard to get stuff, but I'm a crafty person and a sewer, so I had some fleece lying around the house, and I cut fleece into strips and I punched holes in a piece of cardboard from a cardboard box, and that's how I made our first snuffle mat. And we used that throughout the whole pandemic. Both of my dogs use that all the time. Now, the problem with that is it's not washable. You can't wash something that's on cardboard, right? And it got pretty grody and nasty after a while. Here you go, Bert. Are you finding everything? Are you finding the ones I put in there? So the cardboard one was not washable, so I knew I had to upgrade my DIY snuffle mats. So that is when I came up with the idea for this one. The back of it is a sink mat. Do you see all those holes? This is a sink mat from the Dollar Tree. It costs like $1.25 tree. Hi everybody, I can see your comments, so go ahead and comment if you have any questions. But this was the second, like, version 2 snuffle mat that I made. Again, it's just these little, like, 1-inch fleece strips, and I just weave them through the back of all the holes, and then I tie them in a knot on the front side, and it's exactly the same action. It's the same kind of activity. Your dog gets the same benefit from it as these store-bought ones. However, this is very floppy. Okay, sometimes if my dog Bert is doing this, he'll just pick it up and fling it across the room, and kibble will kind of go flying everywhere. Usually that's not a problem, but if it goes flying underneath the refrigerator, underneath the oven, then he's like trying to get under there, and I have to get under there with a butter knife and like fish out the little pieces of kibble, and it's not ideal. But this costs under $10 to make. It's a good craft if you want to make stuff, if you're a crafty, handy person. 10 out of 10, highly recommend. These store-bought ones, which again, they're from Paws and Dogs. Here's again their brand, Paws and Dogs, okay? And right now we're looking at the butterfly one, is what Bert's interacting with. And someone was asking if they're machine washable. On here it says hand wash or machine wash. Let me see what the other one says too. This is a slightly different tag for this one. Washing. Okay, here we go, guys. Washing instructions. Machine washable on gentle cycle in a mesh laundry bag, or hand washable at 30 degrees Celsius. So 30 degrees Celsius, that's like 100 degrees or 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Does anyone know that? With mild detergent. Gentle drying is recommended in a laundry bag on low heat or drip dry. Hand wash, if there's a lick pad that came with it, hand wash the lick pad. But there's no lick pad that came with these two. So these are machine washable. I personally do not have a mesh laundry bag that is big enough to fit this giant butterfly. If you do, then I think that's great. Personally, I do not think you have to wash it between every single use, but if you're using it all the time, you would want to wash it on like some semi-regular basis. However, as a canine enrichment specialist and expert, I'm certified in canine enrichment. I've been blogging about dogs for 13 years. I would tell you, you should not be using the exact same snuffle mat every single day for a long period of time, because your dog will start to get frustrated and annoyed with having to do the same thing over and over and over again. So there are studies that show that when you're doing canine enrichment activities with your dog, you want to make sure that they're getting variety and novelty. So that's why it's kind of great to have oh, excuse me, Bert. It's kind of great to have this butterfly, to have my DIY version, to have this tough chewer, heavy duty version. Plus we have slow feeder bowls and lick mats and platters, and we have all kinds of different solutions for feeding my dog Bert, because when he's doing the same exact thing over and over and over again, the same repetitive puzzle, the same repetitive action, not only do the benefits start to plateau and even go down, but the activity can actually become detrimental to your dog's mental health and their emotional stability. They can start to get frustrated, and then that can lead to problem behaviors like being destructive, being bored, just generally not being satisfied with their lives. So I would not recommend that you do this exact same snuffle mat every single day. Therefore, you do not need to wash it every single week, because you're going to be rotating in and out of these things. So maybe you do the butterfly one night a week, then another night we move to this snuffle mat, another night they're eating with the slow feeder bowl, another night it's a topple or a Kong or something like that. Maybe you bring back the DIY one for just an afternoon activity, not a whole meal. See what I mean? The key here is really variety. Now let's talk about some of the other differences between the DIY version and the store-bought version. This store-bought version of the snuffle mat is very, very sturdy. When I got this in the mail, I was surprised at how heavy the box was. I'm just moving you back just a little bit, my love. I was surprised at how heavy the box was. So this weighs, I don't know, 1.5 pounds or something like that. It folds up. And I mentioned there are these loops here on the top of the wing. There are these loops, so you can actually hang it up. I keep it hung up in a closet so that it can dry out, because it's usually covered in slobber by the time Bert's done with it. So I'll hang it to dry between uses. I'll also give it a good shake to release any kind of treats or crumbs or food that's left over inside of it. And I'm seeing that Bert has discovered where I put this bag, so let me just put this up again. And Bert, I'll let you play with the other snuffle mat in just a second. Give me just 1 second, Papa. Give me just a second. Come over here. Come over here. Okay. Can you lie down? Come here, lie down. Here, Bert, lie down. Down. Okay, let's do the ripstop one. Okay, you ready? So, like I said, with this one, this is kind of like the heavy duty. I asked for one that was good for tough chewers, because a lot of people say that their dogs chew and destroy snuffle mats. So I wanted to see what this one was like. It has all these little loops. Technically, you could, I'm dropping tons of food. You could take little pieces of food and put them in between all of these different little loops. See what I'm doing right there? You could do that, but you would spend half of your life doing that, and your dog would solve it in like a matter of minutes. So what I would advise doing instead, I'm gonna do it on this table right here. So let's put this mat down on the table, and just like the other one, it has this nice kind of slip-resistant backing on it. It also has these suction cups, but my floors in my house is 120 years old. These don't stick to my floors. So maybe if you have tile or something like that, I think they would stick. I wonder if it sticks to this table here. Oh, it does. So it sticks pretty, well, no, just kidding, it doesn't. If I stick it on this table, okay, it's sticking pretty good, but it also comes off. So I would not rely on these suction cups. I think they're a great idea, but in practice, don't really do a whole lot. So we've got this nice thick cotton blend webbing on the top here. We have this slip-proof backing. It's actually made with sort of a nylon material on the back. So the people who are worried about washing it and keeping it clean, these are all quick drying materials. So you could hand wash this with some gentle, fragrance-free, dye-free, like the free and clear detergent, or a little bit of dish soap. Just make sure you rinse it out really, really well and let it air dry. That's what I would recommend doing. And then in terms of loading up this snuffle mat, like I said, you could take these little tiny pieces and try to put them inside of all these little loops, but I think you're gonna drive yourself insane doing that. So what I would do is just go like this, and then go like this, and then give it to your dog. Okay, so let's see if that worked. I'm gonna give it to Bert right now. Here he is, and there you go. Yeah. So I would say that technique is pretty effective. You don't have to go in and tuck treats inside of every single individual little loop there. Now, what other questions do you have about these snuffle mats? Feel free to ask below. Yes, and thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. Sorry, YouTube is giving me other like Q&A sticker thingies popping up, but please subscribe to my channel. Like I said, my name is Tori Mistick. I'm a certified canine enrichment expert. I've been blogging about my life with dogs for over 13 years. I'm here with my current dog, Bert, who is almost 14 years old. He's a chocolate lab rescue. I like to call him a farm lab because he was found in Amish country in Ohio. I rescued him 7.5 years ago. So I've not had him his whole life. He was about 6.5 when I got him, and he is living his best life. He really landed a good deal when I met him, and I landed a good deal when I met him as well. We're very lucky to have each other. But he went from basically living on death row in a shelter in Ohio to being picked up by an awesome shelter here in Pennsylvania, to then arriving at my house where he's become a dog influencer, and he gets to test out all kinds of awesome enrichment products and be my guinea pig for all kinds of enrichment games. So he really hit the jackpot when we found each other. So if you love dog enrichment, if you are someone who might want to start a dog business on the side, I actually have a whole other section of content around digital marketing and growing your pet business. I have 2 podcasts. One's about pet business and one's about dog enrichment. So those are my 2 passions. And if you subscribe and follow my channel, you'll see all of that content. And if anyone has any other questions, feel free to ask me. So if you're just tuning in, what we're looking at is the Paws and Dogs snuffle mats, which are really awesome, heavy duty, nice, like sturdy. I know this folds, but it's actually like a very sturdy material. Lots of layers here. The backing material of it is kind of like a felty material on the inside. And again, felt and fleece, they are going to dry very quickly. So if you are hand washing this, these are going to be great mats for you. The instructions do say that you can machine wash them if you put them into like one of those nylon mesh laundry bags, but I don't know about you. I don't have a laundry bag that is big enough to fit this inside of it. This is very, very large, which is great for my big dog. My big dog loves playing with this snuffle mat, but I don't think it would fit very well in my washing machine. So I would probably just rinse this out in the tub, honestly, and then let it hang to dry. But like I said, you should not be using the same snuffle mat every single day. I think this is a common problem that I see in like the dog enrichment culture, is that we get a Kong or a Topple or a snuffle mat or a lick mat or whatever it is, and we do the same thing with our dog day in and day out. And that can actually be very frustrating to your dog. So there are some studies that show that if you do the exact same thing, like if you give your dog a peanut butter Kong every single day, at first, it's good. Your dog enjoys licking it. They enjoy the peanut butter. They enjoy solving the puzzle of how to get to whatever goodies are at the very end of the Kong. But if they do the same thing day in and day out over and over and over again, it starts to get a little bit monotonous and frustrating. And no longer is it going to benefit your dog. It's actually going to be detrimental to your dog. So it's really important that you have variety in your dog's enrichment routine. So you can do snuffle things. You can do lick things. You can work with some nice, long-lasting, all-natural chews that your dog gets their back molars really engaged in chewing on some bully stick or something like that. You can go out for great enrichment walks, which are not just sniffing walks, but also giving your dog the chance to walk on different surfaces and different terrain. That's amazing physical enrichment. And as you can see, these snuffle mats are pretty good physical enrichment too. Bert is moving around and manipulating this around to find the kibble that we've hidden inside. Now, one other thing that I love to tell people about enrichment is enrichment should always be fun, never frustrating. So if I see that Bert is starting to get a little bit frustrated, like maybe he is right now, I will kind of jump in and help him and see is there some treat that's lodged in there somehow that he can't get it out and he's starting to get frustrated. You don't want your dog to be frustrated by this. So let's just see, I did hide some of those pieces of kibble in between some loops, and that might be frustrating him. I don't see any right here. We're just gonna give it a good shake. Okay, nothing came out. So I think it's just some residual sniffs and smells that he's sniffing. So another thing, I was talking to one of the founders of Paws and Dogs. We were talking about snuffle mats, and she said she was gonna send me some of these. So this is a husband and wife owned Canadian company. And they make really great, thoughtfully designed, high quality, creative snuffle mats. And I was talking to the wife, and she was just saying, we were talking about like what could I do to help? What kind of information could I share about these snuffle mats? And she was saying that like some of her customers share that, they want stuff that's chew resistant, like this super tough one, because, people give their dog a snuffle mat and then they go on a Zoom call. And when they come back from the Zoom call, their dog has destroyed the snuffle mat. And so I thought that was really interesting because I don't think that enrichment is a babysitter for your dog. I think that you should kind of participate in the enrichment activities with your dog. I mean, something like a Kong or a Topple that's like a stuffed frozen toy, sure, let your dog go in the other room and do that, You can't really participate in licking that toy, or there's nothing to do together with that. But with a snuffle mat, I do believe that you should kind of sit by their side. It's only gonna take them like 5 minutes to solve this. A snuffle mat should not be something that's keeping your dog busy for 45 minutes. If it does, to me, that would be a red flag that it's become frustrating and no longer fun. It shouldn't take them 45 minutes to solve something like this. This is really like a 5 to 10 minute activity. And the goal is not to occupy your dog for the longest amount of time. The goal is to satisfy your dog's physical, emotional, and mental needs. And to do that, you're tapping into their natural instincts. Bert's over there sniffing because that bag of kibble is right up there. It's only a matter of time until he jumps up there and tries to get it. Look at him. His nose, he knows exactly where that is. He knows he could like win if we were at like a county fair and you had to guess how many pieces of kibble are in that bag. Can you guys even see that bag up there? He sees it. He smells it. But if we were at a county fair, he could win a challenge of like how many pieces of kibble are in this bag. You can't even see through. It's an opaque bag. But you would figure it out, Bert, wouldn't you? You're such a smart boy. So anyhow, this is my soapbox about enrichment. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm really, really close to hitting a 3,000 watch hours milestone here on YouTube. So if you enjoyed watching this, please subscribe and watch any of my other videos. I do have a whole limited series podcast called Dog Enrichment with Tori Mistick, where it's 10 episodes and each episode is a deep dive into a different category of enrichment. So if you heard me here talking about physical enrichment and going on terrain walks where your dog gets to walk on different types of terrain, or talking about visual enrichment or sound-based enrichment, and all these different kind of cool things you can do with your dog that are beyond just the regular old Kongs and sniff walks, you should definitely go check out my podcast. All the episodes are like around 20 minutes. Some are maybe close to 30, but they're usually close to 20 minutes. And you can watch them here on YouTube, listen to them wherever you find your podcasts. Oh, Bert, he's just, I'm gonna have to go rescue him and put that bag away. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate you keeping me company here. It's a snowy day. And according to the internet and the news, we're expecting 10 plus inches of snow on Sunday. Is that true? Is anyone else expecting that? Some people are saying more. I told someone we're getting 10 inches of snow supposedly on Sunday, and they told me, oh, I heard a lot more than that. I was like, how? More than 10 inches of snow? That seems like a lot. But we're all sucked up. We've got snuffle mats, we've got our paws and dog snuffle mats. I've got my DIY snuffle mat. If you want to go to the dollar store and get the supplies to make this, then when you're all snowed in this weekend, you could make a DIY version, or you could order this version and have it next week in time for your dog to play with it. I really love the butterfly. I also really like this one. It's not as soft. Like, I like how soft this one is, but I'm not sure that my dog actually cares. What he cares about is finding the food that I hide inside of it. But highly recommend. This one's also quite heavy because this material is much heavier than fleece. But anyhow, I hope you had fun watching this. I had a lot of fun doing it, and so did Bert. If you want to see more from us, you can subscribe, go check out other videos, and I'll see you guys around. If you have any dog questions, now you know I'm your dog girl, your dog enrichment girl. So just holler at me, and I'd love to help you out. Have a great day, everyone.